Hello and welcome to a very special Thanksgiving edition of the Three Donkeys podcast. Yes, this podcast never sleeps. It is Wednesday night, the biggest party night of the year. However, these three donkeys are taping a podcast like the true losers and donkeys that we are. As always, I am joined by Jonathan Bales, hashtag regular employee, Peter Jennings, hashtag bizdev. Peter, what's going on?
Oh, just loving life here. I've been researching a little bit of the good old Thanksgiving slate. Thank goodness a lot of my biases are not present on that slate, so that's good news. My biases have been very expensive this year. Been following crypto a lot. Bales and I were talking about that a little pre-show. Bales is seems like he's on fire right now, just crushing life. He qualified for the Q. He also, or for the live final in Miami. He, I believe, won the bets, right? Bales won the bets and the prop versus me. The only thing that I had at all last week was winning the Three Donkeys three-man. So at least I didn't get crushed, but still break even for me on the week, which is, like, I guess, great given how I've been doing. So, Bales, tell us about the fire that you're spitting right now.
I don't know that it's you hyped it up a bit too much there. I don't know I'm doing that well, but crypto has been great the past week, obviously, and the bets have been, it's just like mostly luck, but those have been going well. And I was in the King of the Beach online qualifier, and I didn't qualify for that. I had a lineup that I loved that I think I might have played that or like some version of it against you guys in the three-man that was awful. So I didn't qualify for that, but I did qualify for the Miami trip that I'm going to anyway to beat Levitan and BA in the mile. So that was definitely exciting to qualify for that.
Tell the people what that is. It was a 5K mega qualifier, right? 5K buy-in, and they gave out a bunch of seats. And how many people are in the final, and how much is first?
Yeah, I think it's 200 people, $12 million in the prize pool, $2 million to first. It's pretty flat. It's a very desirable payout structure compared to past championships. So I think it's $2 million to first, $1 million to second, $750K I think to third, and it was a $5,700 buy-in, and it was one of the mega Qs. So it was top 8 get a ticket, and maybe like 110 or something are in the qualifier, but it didn't fill. It was a few short, so that was good. I got second in it, so that wouldn't have mattered, but I did mess up. I did swap Melvin Gordon and Shady like 30 seconds before the 4 o'clock game started, and just because I thought that whatever, I thought that it was going to be better because of ownership based on where the lineups were, and if I didn't swap, I would have gotten 7th and 8th for 2 seats, so that hurt a little bit, but still thought it was right.
I saw your lineup, I believe. Didn't seem like it was that contrarian. You did get on Keenan Allen, which I think was obviously the key. Dude just went completely ham at like 5% owned, but outside of that, I don't think it was that contrarian, was it?
No, I didn't even have Keenan Allen in the beginning, so that was one thing that I did right. I thought that lineup that won, maybe it was a miscalculation. The other thing is that I just completely screwed it up. But if you notice, I played the Chargers against Shady.
Right.
Like the lineup was bad. That was a miscue in the late swap. So sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, I guess.
Yeah. I was a disaster on DraftKings this week. Luckily, I found the not the nuts, but the cash game nuts on FanDuel somehow. But I had way more action on DraftKings, so I still lost. Like, I love to think of everything's in like the form of a Bitcoin now. So I lost like, I don't know, like a quarter of a Bitcoin or almost half a Bitcoin or something like that this week, which all things considered could have been way, way, way worse. But I'm excited about this Thanksgiving slate. I think we will see soft action, Peter, because people do not want to spend time with their families, despite what they say. People do not want to eat disgusting thick turkey, despite what they say. They do not want to sit around and talk with their families about politics and Donald Trump and all this. They want to gamble. So are you expecting softer action? We know the action will be soft in tournaments. Will there also be soft action in cash on this 3-game slate?
Yes. There will definitely be soft action. I was just checking my games and have some no-namers and some higher stakes games. You're 100% correct. People, there's the meal, but then there's all this dead time. And for a lot of people, it's just awkward conversations, people who are at their significant other's family. Like DraftKings and DFS is like the perfect thing on Thanksgiving. This has been, a consistent, amazing day in terms of action. The only sad thing about tomorrow is no Calvin Johnson. I feel like every single year I've had Calvin Johnson on Thanksgiving, and it's just like a printing press, and we don't have him this year. So I don't know. It's it's not as fun of a slate, but it's still good. There's definitely options. There's ways to be contrarian, but yeah, Thanksgiving will be great, and there's definitely a lot of people who, they want to get away from their families. They want to degen it up, dude.
Yep, exactly. And last year on Thanksgiving we had the Killer Bees at home, I believe, against the Colts, which was just
wax.
Yeah, I mean, they had Antonio Brown had 3 touchdowns in the first 10 minutes. And then they sat the rest of the game against Scott Tolzien. But yeah, there's not as obvious of a spot this week. So, I think we'll still need to run pretty well. Whereas in the past, I think there was a lot of just stone locks. So it's definitely an interesting slate. Should be fun. I am looking forward to it. The 3-man was won by Peter. I don't know. Do we have standings on the 3-man, Bales, or is it just all baked into one number at this point?
No, there's no standings, but it's represented in the money's the same every week.
What's the total money at?
Peter's up 100, I'm up 100, and you're down 200.
Overall?
Yep.
Oh, wow. I thought I was just up a ton more. Wasn't Peter just down 1,200?
Oh, that's in the overall for everything. I was just talking about the 3-man. The overall, Peter's down 1,150. You're up 450. I'm up 700.
Rich get richer for Bales. All right. Before we get into food, I think we should hit crypto because we're hitting all-time highs at Bitcoin once again. Bales wrote an article today. You can check it out on his personal blog where he has a lot of modeling pictures and stuff like that up there of himself. Bales, talk about the article you wrote today. Talk about why Bitcoin is at all-time highs. What's going on in the alt market? What do you got for us?
I wrote an article that was really a lot of people have asked a ton of questions. It's actually crazy how many questions I get, and then I'm not an expert. I know, not that much comparatively to something like DFS. I'm a complete idiot in crypto, but I get a lot of questions. Like today, I got 3 questions on Twitter or email that were or comments that were basically I can't afford a full Bitcoin. How can I get exposure without investing $8,200 or whatever? Which of course is, you can buy any amount of Bitcoin. So people know so little about this that I thought that it would be useful if I just publish some very, very basic stuff about what I've learned while buying and trading crypto. And hopefully it was useful to people. Why is Bitcoin up? I don't know. I don't know exactly why it's up to exactly $8,300, but obviously I think it's going to go a lot higher than that long term. So, and for most people, I think it's smart to just buy it now and not wait and just hold it and not really worry about whether it's going up or down unless something fundamental about Bitcoin changes. I think that the short-term fluctuations are somewhat irrelevant if you're bullish on the long-term outlook of it.
Yeah, I think one thing people also don't understand is like you could think that Bitcoin is a bubble and the bubble could last like 5 years. You know what I mean? Like just because it's overpriced or you think it's overpriced, I don't know if it is or not, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to keep going up for like 5 years as more and more people get exposure to it. Peter, you have any idea what's going on right now with Bitcoin reaching all-time highs besides just everybody wanting to be Bales?
I think FOMO is driving a lot of it. I mean, it's speculation. One thing, just even on like a trading brokerage platform, I was looking at the number one search there was Bitcoin. So people are definitely trying to learn more about it. A lot of people are talking about it. So I think FOMO is certainly driving a lot of what's happening in the markets right now. Bales, I thought did a great job with his article, and he referenced how little he knows about it. I think he did a great job kind of conveying the context of where we are. He said he's a 3 out of 100, which is obviously very low. But if you consider everyone else is like 0.2 or 0.1, like people really don't understand. So I do think that aspect is really intriguing. I think just getting more information about the basics of it out there is really, really good. So the one thing pertaining to the price is it's kind of hard to follow in terms of the volatility and why certain days it's up or why it's down certain days. And I think Bales kind of has the right approach. I know we wanted to talk a little bit about it, but for me, it's just basically been buy and hold. I am not smart enough to trade this. And, if you think like investing in the stock market or something else is, volatile and you have to handle your emotions well, like crypto is just ridiculous swings. So most people get too emotional with stuff like that. So I think buy and hold is generally the best kind of advice.
All right. Anything else on crypto before we move on, Bales?
No, I think that I actually didn't even think about that, Peter, when I wrote it, like the emotional part of just buying and holding, that people might not be able to deal with the swings because the swings are absolutely crazy, and maybe we're like sort of used to that and understand how to deal with that. I mean, I wrote about it a little bit, but most people really are not used to that, especially if you like invest in the stock market or whatever. People will say it's volatile and it moves like, like 1/20th of what crypto can move in a day or something. So, it's something to get used to. And because of that, I would say like definitely invest money that like you just psychologically think, okay, this is gone. Like I'm never going to see this again. And it probably becomes easier to deal with the swings.
Yeah, I think a lot of reputable people have given similar advice, something that you're, willing to lose. You understand you're investing something that's highly volatile, and the emotional part's hard. And I think it's even harder. Like Bales, I have so much respect that you've actually been trading this, and obviously it's easy to trade and do well when it's a really big bull market, but handling these swings of that's really hard. You look at traditional, you look at investing, 90% plus of people, sell at the wrong time. They sell when things are going down out of fear, and they buy out of greed when things are at all-time highs. And in crypto, that's constantly happening, these highs and lows. And there's so much volatility that those swings cause people in general, I think, to basically, buy high and sell low. So that's something that obviously you don't want to do, the exact opposite of what Warren Buffett said. And I think it's just even harder in something like crypto where it's much more volatile than something like the stock market.
But because of that, the volatility and how little people really know, something as basic as like you need to buy a full Bitcoin or something, there's so much room to grow, right? So like even if you think it's a bubble, like there's so many people that know about Bitcoin and they even think that maybe it's a good thing, but they just like don't know what to do. They are too scared at the moment. They think that, whatever it is, there's some fear that is very overcomable, and it will be overcome in my opinion. And so you have like the vast majority of people who are going to probably buy this in the future that haven't done it yet. There's so much upside relative to the risk in my opinion.
All right, we want to move on to a topic that is also very near and dear to Bale's heart, which is food. I love talking about food. I actually want to go on the record that I'm not like some huge Philly guy or anything. I didn't grow up here. I've lived here for how long now? I've lived here like 13 years now, and I have seen like the Philly food scene, I think, become one of the best I've ever been to. And I've traveled a decent amount, probably not as much as Peter or Bales, but I've traveled a ton, and I think Philly has the most amazing food. Like every place you go to, like if you know where to go, is so good. Whereas New York, there's like a bazillion places, but like a lot of them probably aren't that good. So I don't know. I love that food scene in Philly. I know Bales posted something today about La Verci, which is one of my favorite kind of like new age Italian places on this place called East Passyunk, where there's a million amazing kind of funky like BYO restaurants. There's just so many neighborhoods with amazing restaurants. So I don't know, man. I'm just rambling, but I think the food scene in Philly is amazing. I'm sure Bales wants to talk about Grubhub. Go ahead, Bales.
I agree on the Philly food scene is the most underrated in the country. I've been to a lot of cities and love to go to restaurants and stuff. And Philly is probably, it might be like my favorite city in terms of food. It's just so good. New York obviously is up there. The best of New York is very good, and New Orleans is pretty unique. And there's some cities with really good food, but Philly is crazy good in most places that you go. I don't know what it is. There's some that chefs that have. There's a few like 3 chefs or restaurateurs that have opened up a bunch of restaurants here that have been amazing, and they have like restaurants all over the place, and the competition is incredible. And I mean I took you guys obviously to Double Knot, which is next to Sampan. I think it's the same owners, which is one of my favorite restaurants here. And it's just it's a great food city.
Steven Starr, Bale's referring to, has like a bunch of restaurants here in Philly: Elvez, Continental, all amazing. And they're spreading to like New York. They're in AC. He just opened a park in DC that's just absolutely crushing down in DC. So it's spreading everywhere. I'm not sure it's spread to Denver, but Peter claims to have a sushi place in Denver that flies in sushi meat from Japan every day. I don't know if I believe that. I would probably need to see the receipts, but go ahead, Peter.
Well, I'm the biggest Colorado homer there is. I always endorse Colorado. Today it was 70 degrees outside. Tomorrow it's going to be 71. There's so many things that just are amazing. I love the mountains, I love the views, all that stuff. Food, we can't even we're not even in like the tier below Philly and New York and San Francisco. Like overall, Denver does not do food well. The only thing that you can come to like Denver in general for that you're going to find a lot of good options for is like a steakhouse. Like we have really good steakhouses and you can get a great steak here. But outside of that, I mean, it's pretty disappointing, honestly. And that's one of my favorite things to do is go out to meals with friends. And my friends live down in Cherry Creek, which has a lot of the best restaurants. And we're in an area where a lot of restaurants are. And yeah, there are some gems like Sushi Den, which Bales has been to. It is some of the best sushi I've ever had. They get all their fish from around the world. They'll have salmon in from Alaska. They'll get a lot of their toro and things of that nature from Tokyo. And it really is fresh. I mean, they'll run out of stuff. That's how they're bringing stuff in. They actually will run out of things, and they have, kind of constantly changing specials. So that's a gem. But Philly just blows it away. I thought the restaurant we went to was awesome. And Bales, you were tweeting about some 40-course thing. I would absolutely come out to Philly again, especially if I can get action versus you suckers in racquetball.
Let's. I'll give you some action in racquetball if you want to come out for that. I haven't been to this place.
Do you have a new racket, by the way?
I ordered. It's not here yet. I got one on Amazon. It's not a. What do we have? A Rocky Carson?
Yeah, we had I went out when we first started playing. I went out and purchased the top of the line, the Rocky Carson, the most legendary thing. And then next thing I know, I turn around, Bales is smashing it. I mean, Bales destroyed the legendary racket. He has no chance of ever winning ever again.
I want to stay on this subject because I have so many subtle, funny stories. But go ahead, Bales. I want to hear more about your racket throw.
There's more than one. I just like have been throwing the racket a bit too much, and the Rocky Carson though does not necessarily fit my playing style, which is a power game, and I think that's more for very advanced accurate hitters. Levitan is more of like an accuracy guy than I am. I'm world-class power. And so I got the I'll bring it up, but it's some power freak racket that I think is going to make me unstoppable.
Yeah, Bales' best play is front wall, back wall, and then get it to bounce so high that I can't reach it back on the front wall.
You can play it off that wall, right? You guys know that, right? Like if you go front wall, back wall, then bounce off the wall, you can play it until it hits its second bounce. You guys know that, right?
Off the front wall?
Yeah.
What?
You can
No,
play
we never play. I didn't play, but you guys didn't
Boys,
play.
I learned the rule from Brandon Stokely, the guy who is he's
the ball can hit the front wall twice before I touch it, and I can keep
as long
playing.
as it only bounces once.
Dude, I've been playing with people and doing that, telling them that they can't hit it.
That's the only way I've lost a point to Bales in the last year.
We just defeated Bales in his go-to move.
You told me that, Peter.
I know we used to play it wrong. You don't act like it's my fault.
When we played, Peter, you pulled that move on me at least 6 points.
Well, I learned that.
I don't think that's even right. I really don't.
I'm 100% confident that's the rule.
All right, we'll look it up.
Look it up. I looked up, and I also learned that dotted line, you actually can't come before it when returning serve. So you know that dotted line that we've always wondered what it's for? That's for you cannot move past that returning serve.
We never do that.
Yeah, I never do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but just that's what it's for. The game does change. Speaking of racquetball, one of the funniest things I remember with Bales, the first time I played racquetball, which was utterly embarrassing in a multitude of regards. I insisted on wearing goggles, of course, cut my face open with those same goggles I insisted were necessary for protection. Not only that, during the match, I was throwing my racket over and over and over again. And I forgot in college that that's kind of how the guy I played with the most, we'd throw our rackets all the time and break them and all that stuff. And I was kind of embarrassed about it. And I told Bales, I'm like, yeah, man, I gotta handle that a little bit better and not throw my racket so much. And Bales goes, nah, man, I like it. I like that you throw your racket. So good. You like that, right, Bales?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, that's just like, passion for the game. I love that stuff, man. If you're not buying a new racket every month because you destroyed it, then you just don't love the game like we do.
That's so good. And you guys will love this. I actually bought this yesterday, a headband. I want to wear a headband of the goggles because the goggles, if you remember one of my biggest challenges with the goggles, I also learned this, was the sweat drips in and then it gets in the goggles and it affects your vision. Brutal. It's another disadvantage with those same goggles that have just been the demise of me since I insisted they're so important. So I think I found a solution with this headband.
Yeah, I've been wearing a headband too. When I've been training for the mile, I've been wearing a headband too, just because like it's a little bit distracting for me to keep like wiping my forehead and stuff like that. I'm trying to keep my form, so I've gone to the headband as well. We'll be wearing a headband when we race down in Miami on December.
You're gonna wear some high socks too and really ball it out.
No, I don't wear high socks. I've been rocking kind of lowish black socks lately. Throwback to the Fab Five days. Well, the Fab Five, I guess, wore like kind of a little bit higher black socks, but
if you wore some short shorts and some nice high socks that had like the coloring at the top and then a headband.
Nah,
pretty strong.
Levitan, are you going to be listening to music like BA?
Well, look, are you out of your mind? No, I don't listen to music when I train. It's just I got to feel the pain. I got to be like thinking about it. There's no way.
Yeah.
I love how BA puts that out there.
I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Like he's just like throwing stuff out there, like just to angle us. I mean, I'm not responding to anything. I don't want to say.
I was saying the music and angle.
I don't trust him. I don't trust him for anything. Injuries, music. He just wants to know like if we're training. How long is the song that we pick, etc.
Oh, that's what you're trying. That's what he thinks the angle is. He's picking a song. He's trying to run it under.
I believe that he's hurt. I think that he's probably hurt. Yeah, I don't think he's lying.
The song thing, that's pretty clever. I didn't realize that was part of picking a song that's like 5 minutes and 50 seconds might be really sharp. You got to know where you are based on where the song is.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea at all.
I had some people ask me if they could bet on the race. Like, I guess Timex isn't putting it on poker shares. Maybe we can ask him. But either way, like if anybody wants to bet me on the race, if anybody wants to bet against me, I'm looking for more action on myself at 3-1. If anybody wants to bet me, I'm looking for more motivation. If you're willing to escrow, I think Peter would be a good escrow. Obviously, he has all the money and he's very honorable. So if people want to bet and they're willing to escrow with Peter, I'd also be willing to escrow. I'll say like minimum 500 at 3-1. If people are interested, Bales, do you want to do anything?
I would do like odds against you. I don't know. BA seems like maybe we made a bad bet.
Oh,
I don't want to put it
nuts.
You don't think 3-1? We, in theory, we're all 33%. If we were all even, we're each 3-1.
Oh, so you're saying you have to win for it to be to count? You're just so what if Bales wins? What happens? You lose?
Yeah, this is a win bet. Yeah, I want 3-1 on me to win the race.
Oh, okay, I see. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I would do some bets that were just against Levitan, but I would need odds. Like, I mean, I've been running not every day, but trying and stuff. And I mean, I wasn't that far off last time probably, so I just need more money on it.
Bales,
not
maybe
not against
the song thing.
Yeah, maybe.
You don't have to train at all. You just do the mental mind trick of having the song, and you'll run.
I'm gonna have some mind tricks coming. I guarantee that. I've been thinking about it a lot. I'm gonna have a real weird strategy.
Bales is gonna come out like super slow and then sprint by everybody or do something insane.
Have you been reading my notes?
The thing is, people don't realize, I don't even want to get into it really, but the thing that people don't realize in the mile is it's not as short as people think. And like, you're like, oh, I'll just stay close and then I'll sprint at the end. Like, you're actually not, because when you're out of gas, there is just no sprinting happening whatsoever. So
you can't do that. I ran with Tyler when Tyler came the other week, Levitan.
Yeah.
Dude, he runs like not that fast, but like he runs under 7 minutes. He ran, I think, like 6:40 or something. Like he just we ran together. He just is much faster. Like I can't keep up with him. There's nothing I can do.
Right.
There's no strategy. He just runs by me.
Yeah. And people don't realize, like, oh, you just keep up with him. What's the big deal? Like, if you've ever actually tried to run a mile, you don't realize, like, your body stops. Like, if you don't have it in you, like, your body literally stops.
Yeah,
so.
one lap maybe you can like really push that, but a mile's pretty long. Like,
right. Yeah. Do you want to give me any more? I think we have 500 at 3-1. Peter, do you want to give me any more at 3-1?
No, absolutely not. We'll talk closer to the race when the price is more reasonable.
Why will the price be more reasonable closer to the race?
I mean, I'm not saying that it will be. I'm just not. I'm not gonna. I think I might have underestimated you, Levitan.
All right, let's get to.
You're undefeated in these mile props. I mean, I don't want to. Now I'm giving.
I'm 1-0
against me.
You're undefeated. It's just what it is.
Yeah. All right, gambling Olympics. I think people don't really know what we're talking about when we say gambling Olympics. I think maybe people think it sounds corny or whatever, but I actually think it's a really good idea and something that could be really cool. So I'm going to briefly try to explain what we're talking about here, and then I'll send it to Peter, who I think has a better vision of what we're talking about. Basically, you get together and you do all kinds of things, not just fitness props, that'd be part of it, but also DFS, also playing poker, also betting sports, just doing all things that we think that peer-to-peer battles where there would be an edge, not playing blackjack, not doing stupid shit like that, not doing stuff that nobody can really win at, like actual peer-to-peer where there's an edge where people can make a living. So, and just do a whole bunch of them together. So it would be fitness, it'd be poker, it'd be DFS, it'd be sports betting, it'd be whatever else, and get like an actual film crew to film it and like produce it as if it was like the actual Olympics on NBC with like some Bob Costas stiff in a suit, like announcing and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I had in mind when I hear the word gambling Olympics. What do you think, Peter?
Love it. That's exactly what we're going to do. We need some really good events. Obviously, it's going to be a test of fitness, a test of our gambling skills. Hopefully we'll have some other just kind of random fun stuff we've learned. Bales and skee ball is off the table. Whatever. I mean, we'll just come up with fun stuff. And obviously the events that we'll train for will have to be like the main ones. And I mean, that's the ultimate dream. I mean, when I was younger, I dreamed of winning the gambling Olympics. So yeah, I think you did a great job. The one thing we were talking pre-show that I think would be dope that would help facilitate the gambling Olympics. Obviously, we had that awesome house last year for the NBA All-Star break. We absolutely need something like that for the gambling Olympics. That house had a basketball court, racquetball court, basketball shooting that you could do. It had your game Pac-Man. It had all sorts of arcade stuff.
Right next bowling alley.
Bowling alley. We just need all this stuff that inherently is easy to gamble on.
Mm-hmm.
Bales, chime in.
Hashtag regular employee Bales. Are we going to get this through the corporate life that we're now ensconced in?
I don't know. I'm going to need to ask my boss. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll put in a request. I don't know.
You'll send it up the pipeline.
Bales, did you see, by the way, that Joey changed his Twitter profile and he has the Chinese flag as his
no, I don't like that.
I thought he was doing I thought he was just getting waxed because I saw him doing all this poker stuff and I'm like, oh,
yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff.
He's still not. He's doing a lot of things. He's not over in China. This Chinese flag. I mean,
well, I initially saw on. I'm not a big Instagram guy, although I might start using Instagram. I have an Instagram. I haven't posted pictures in like 2 years. But Joey said that's like a huge leak. He loves Instagram. But he does all these stories and like sometimes I see them. And he's been in Chinatown a few times, Peter. He's like eating meals in Chinatown.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's not gonna get it.
That is actually dangerous. I mean, we forgot how prevalent that culture might be in Las Vegas, right around there. Which Chinatown are you referencing?
Yeah, Vegas. I mean, I don't know what I don't.
There's also all these restaurants off of the strip that are clearly Chinese. I mean, if you found like a bomb restaurant with these chefs that just only spoke Mandarin, if you went there for a couple hours a day, I mean, that's a pretty good start.
Go hang out with the chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah, maybe he gets a job. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, he's a line cook, and to win this bet. No, yeah, he's gonna have to do something. Who knows what he's doing? But I thought that maybe he just like wasn't working on it. But this is not good news, right? Right.
This is very bad news.
I'm still willing to take your guys' side. Let me get a little piece. Let me wet my beak a little bit on your guys' side if you guys are scared.
Not at the odds we have.
Also, I'd feel we'd have to talk with Joey about that because Joey also, after he announced this, could have gotten like way better prices and honored our arrangement. So
right,
we have to talk to him. But I of course, we want the three donkeys all to have a sweat and to get punished when Joey's.
He's not allowed to take. He's not allowed to take more action at different prices.
No, he can't like give himself like a way different incentive. I mean, that completely changes it. I was actually, I thought it'd be okay if he canceled our original bet and then took something else on. But
well, do you think it's bad? Do you think it's bad then that I'm asking for more side bet action on the mile race?
No, I mean I think it's fine. Although everyone has motivation, you have to talk to BA. I mean, you guys could talk about it more down the road.
I'm fine with you doing it, but
I mean, I haven't gotten any yet. I don't even know if I want to engage with listeners on side bets. So
yeah, it's tough to do that.
When we initially negotiated this prop with Joey, we emphasized multiple times like the total amount that he could win, and we were always very cognizant of like trying to lower that because obviously, if you give Joey $10 million or whatever, like obviously we're not doing that, but if you give him even say some huge sum of money, like obviously his odds go way up of doing it. Mm-hmm. I still feel pretty good about it. I know if my life depended on it, I think I'd fail. So
no way, not it. Levitan, you have a kid coming. What amount of money for you to literally abandon your family, move to China for a year, and you learn Mandarin?
Nah, no money, man. I wouldn't.
Yeah, right, Levitan. I know there's an amount.
100 million. Levitan is on.
Yeah, 100, a
What
billion.
am I gonna
Like,
do with 100 million? Stop it. I listen. Like,
not you won't do this
There's a lot
podcast
of things you
anymore.
can do with 100 million.
I want to do the podcast. That's the thing.
Oh man,
Like-
Levitan, I don't believe that.
I find, I don't know, man. It's probably a discussion for a different podcast. But if you told me whatever, 8 years ago, I'd have as much money as I have now from talking about fantasy football and gambling and stuff like that, and just betting on stuff. I'd be like, oh, that's, you're just set. Why would you ever do anything else? So me getting another, I don't know, 500,000 or $1 million or whatever to learn Mandarin and leave my family for a year is just out of the question.
I'm not talking about $1 million. I'm talking about 100.
We're talking about you are actually set for life. Don't have to do a job ever again. 10 million.
Good job as it is.
You wouldn't leave your wife for $100 million for 1 year.
100 million?
Yeah, 100 million.
There's always a price, bro.
Of course. So for 1 year, yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe you leave your wife for a year, Levitan.
I would just send $5 million back every month. She'd love it.
I don't even think his wife or his kids is really the problem. I think Jerry would be what really would be tough for Levitan. I mean, you see Jerry in the background there. I mean, he'd be writing love letters and trying to get FaceTime with Jerry. That'd be the biggest challenge. And maybe the price of love is it's priceless. So maybe it's not worth 100 million, Levitan.
I mean, I was just reading a stat today. Evan Turner, who I believe is one of the worst NBA players we've seen in the last couple of decades. I said that when he first got here to Philadelphia. And by the way, he's a really nice guy. I actually covered the Sixers when he was here, but he's just so bad. He's made $98 million in the NBA. So it's totally insane. All right. I think we've gone long enough here considering it's Wednesday night. Bales has to go out and drink 40 beers on this Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. We might as well get to the picks. Last week, I got totally screwed because I had the over in the Giants-Chiefs game, which turned out to have 30-mile-an-hour winds, and I thought the Raiders game was in Oakland. Turned out it was in Mexico. I lost both of those. Bales won by going 2-1 yet again. He hit the under in the Cowboys game, which hit by 1 point, and the under in the Vikings game, which I think was pretty sharp. Overall, Bales is crushing us at 19-11.
Bales is hot
this season. All right. Unless you guys have anything else, I think we should get to this week's picks.
Let's do it.
All right. I'll go first. I don't believe I've gone first. I don't believe I've gone first in a while. I will take the over in the Colts and Titans game. Expecting a shootout here. I think Jacoby Brissett will play well. Also think that Marcus Mariota will play well against this Colts defense, which is really, really bad against the pass, and the Titans are obviously way easier to throw against also. So 2 pass-heavy game plans should lead to a lot of plays. I don't know what the line is now. I saw 45.5, but I will take the over in the Colts-Titans game.
All right, I'm going second no matter what. Bale's just being so hot. He's got to go last. We got to level the playing field here a little bit. I'm going to go – this one makes me a little nervous, and maybe I can hedge with DFS exposure, but I'm going to go under on – I believe we have 54 on the Rams-Saints game, or is it 53? Damn it, it's 53. I'll still take the under. I had it written down at 54 earlier, but I'll take the under on that game.
That was on my list.
That was one of mine too, so – yeah, that's a good one. I'll go Detroit +3 at home against Minnesota. You don't like that, Levitan?
Yeah, that was on my list. That was on my list too.
That was the one I was using that one first. I thought you guys would like that. Short week at home, and I don't know why it's at 3. It opened at they were 1-point favorites. I don't know what else to say about it. Thanksgiving game. I'm always going to take the Lions +3 there.
It's Thanksgiving. I have to take the Lions.
Short week. Really.
Yeah. All right. I think everybody thinks that the Eagles are the best team in the history of the world, and perhaps they are. But once you start laying 2 touchdowns against, I think, a reasonably good defense, that's where I have to draw the line. So I did bet the Cowboys once the line went to 6.5 on Sunday night. I was sleeping by the second quarter because they were getting trucked so bad. but still okay with the bet considering the line move. So yeah, I'll grab the Bears. I believe it's 13.5 right now. I'll grab them.
Okay. I am going to take the 49ers +7. I know that Garoppolo is still not starting, but Beathard did look better in his last game. At home, getting a touchdown. I know Seattle, especially in the fourth quarter, has been really good, but they have a field goal kicker capable of missing a lot of field goals. Russ Wilson has to do everything. Their running backs are, there's like a couple only healthy guys at this point. So I know the 49ers have been bad, but maybe a little mini trend here if they can cover 49ers +7.
I'll take Cleveland and Cincy over 38 points. I believe Corey Coleman's back. Is that right?
Yeah, got back last week. Had a really good game.
Yeah.
Good.
I think that game should be at about 51 because of Coleman. So 38 is a steal.
Oh, God. All right. You guys stole all my picks, so I'm going to have to take something I actually don't even like. I usually would rather not bet or lose than take a road favorite, but I think I see signs of Cam, or I've seen signs really of Cam that he's back to 2015 form, especially in terms of running the football. So going up to the Jets, I hate taking road favorites, especially when they're in this kind of short range, but I'll lay the 5 with the Panthers, and they're getting healthier. Ryan Khalil, Greg Olsen, Kuechly, Cam all look really healthy. So I'll go ahead and lay the points there.
Whew. Guys, this is got 2 picks here that I'm debating, and I'm gonna freaking go with it. What the hell? Got the Broncos stuff on. I'm gonna take the Broncos getting +5, hoping that this Oakland defense and Oakland team is just so bad. Paxton Lynch starting is gross, but yeah, what the hell? I'll take the Broncos. I think their defense can play well in this spot, but we'll see.
I'm gonna do something that's probably so stupid. I'm gonna go my
Broncos, which for whatever reason has a trend attached to it with units, but yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I had one of my picks stolen. I'm just looking. I'll go Miami plus. I think it's 16.5. It was 17. It's just a lot of points, and I believe that we'd have to look it up. We can probably look it up on Bet Labs or something. But teams getting over 2 touchdowns generally cover. I mean, this is a unique situation with probably the best team in the league, but 16.5 points is a lot to give to anybody.
The Patriots were 16-3 against the spread last year. Bales probably more impressive.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't think that's particularly relevant right now, but
okay. Do you think that's relevant at all, Levitan? Belichick and his covering of this?
I don't think that past teams' record against the spread is ever really relevant.
I agree in general. I'm not trying to say I'm not saying that this is a major point. It's just the Patriots, for whatever, just keep defying the odds the last couple of years.
It's surprising too because the Patriots are such a public team, so their lines are inflated anyways. For them to go 16-3 against the spread as a bet on team by the public is crazy. Yeah, I would just consider that a total wild outlier. Can't really see how it has much effect on this year's games.
Do either of you want the Pats?
No, I wasn't trying to make an actual relevant sharp point. I just was trying to joke about it.
I know. Yeah, I did see that's that though. It's pretty crazy. I think
they're double
less likely to. It seems like anecdotally they're less likely to sort of sit on the ball, and they it seems to me try to throw it a bit more at the end of games, even when they're up, than some other teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would be more interested in taking the Patriots if Jay Cutler was starting, but I think it will be Matt Moore, who I think is a pretty big upgrade on Jay Cutler, regardless of what the Dolphins think.
Agree.
All right. That is going to do it for a very special Thanksgiving episode of the 3 Donkeys podcast. Shout out to Scott the intern, keeping the stats for us behind the scenes. Shout out to Jerry. Thanks to Bales. Thanks to Peter. I am Adam. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. I'll be eating my shrimp lo mein, but you guys enjoy the turkey. Good luck, everybody.